Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to get out an impressions video for gaming in particular with the Blessing 3 for Moondrop, the SA6 Mark II from Dunu. Of course, the Dunu coming off the heels of the SA6 Ultra, and the Blessing 3 coming off the heels of the 2 and the Blessing 2 Dusk. I have not tried the Blessing 2 Dusk. I might do that in the future, but both of these IEMs really represent different ends of the spectrum. The Blessing 3, when you put it on, you get in game like Valorant or Apex. You just have this airiness, this brightness. You feel a little bit further away from the sound. The SA6 Mark II coming in with more deepness, more mid-bass and sub-bass, the audio feeling a little bit closer to you, and with that comes a little bit more emphasis on the immediacy, the urgency of things that are happening around you. But what a lot of things, not just IEMs, but over-the-ear headphones require is layering and separation. If I have in Valorant 3 people in front of me shooting a Vandal, 2 people behind me shooting a Vandal, and I'm shooting a Vandal, am I able to pick up all of the different Vandals around me? And I think that the SA6 Mark II is a little bit impacted in that area, particularly for Valorant. Do you find yourself in those scenarios often? The question really comes down to your play style. I personally play aggressively, and I think all of us at one point or another are going to find ourselves in those situations where a lot of those audio cues are going off at the same time. And for that reason, I would not put these as high on the Wallhack certified tier list as something like the Orchestra Lite, which kind of is like a balance between the Blessing 3 and the SA6 Mark II in terms of how the audio feels, in terms of how far away it is from you. The Orchestra Lite is an IEM that performs extremely well. It's high on my Wallhack certified tier list. It's an 8 BA set compared to the SA6 Mark II that is a 6 BA set, and the Blessing 3, which is a 4 BA and 2 dynamic driver set. The Blessing 3 has a lot of brightness to it. It's just an entirely different feel. With that openness, it begs the question, how far is too far? And I think the Blessing 3 is very close to that border. I think the imaging, the depth perception, the verticality, everything is handled well on the Blessing 3, but I wish there was just a little bit more immediacy. I wish the audio was a little bit closer, and I wish there was just a little bit more sub-bass and mid-bass, making some of the audio cues in terms of deep thumps a little bit more emphasized on the Blessing 3. Now, I think that both of these IEMs have the potential to be on the Wallhack certified tier list. I just don't think that either of these are going to come close to the Orchestra Lite. And I don't think that they're going to get close to something like the Dunu Vulcan or the Rapco Hook X. So if they get a Wallhack certification, I just don't think it's going to be high on the list. So keep that in mind. Both of them have great ergonomics. The Moondrop Blessing 3 having that see-through shell, that metallic faceplate, really cool looking set. And then the SA6 Mark II having kind of an orange-looking faceplate, but it's actually more of a wood tone and a wood look when you get close to it. And also has just a really nice fitting set. But the fish mouth nozzle is a little bit wider than the old iterations. And the default candy ear tips that come in the box, actually, in my opinion, don't fit very well. I went with the SpinFit 100s. I think they're the 100s. And then I do have a triple-in lavender cable, a third-party cable on there. I have the Dunu cable also from Linsol on my Blessing 3s. Just more comfortable, in my opinion, for longer playing sessions, although the Mark II comes with a really nice mini Hulk cable and a lot of nice accessories in terms of just a wide array of ear tips. That mini Hulk cable does have interchangeable terminations, 4.4, 2.5, 3.5, and a really cool and nice looking carrying case. In terms of the Blessing 3 unboxing experience, it's not as grandiose. You get a kind of meh cable. The carrying case is pretty nice. And then you've got some pretty just mediocre ear tips that come with the Blessing 3 out of the box. Overall, though, $310, $579, so you kind of expect that gap there in terms of the accessories. But overall, I think both have a really nice unboxing experience. I would just give the edge to the Mark II because you just get a lot of goodies in the box. But again, to be expected because you've got that increased price tag. Overall performance, it falls in line with what I was saying before. The Blessing 3 is great. The Mark II is great. If you were to just take the Mark II into a Valorant deathmatch, you would think these things are sweet. You would think they are beautiful. And that's because in a Valorant deathmatch, things are a little bit more separated. You know, you've got that one target or that other target that might be around you, but usually people are kind of dying pretty frequently around you, kind of limiting how much is going on at the same time. And with that limitation, they perform great. Great depth perception, great imaging, verticality, and great emphasis being a little bit more elevated, again, compared to the Blessing 3. When too much is going on and too many people are shooting the same weapon, it begins to get a little bit muddled in terms of that layering, and certainly with separation as well, particularly for those higher frequencies. I think the mid-bass just covers up a lot of the more metallic-y, tingy objects. So you tend to miss people reloading. You tend to miss footsteps that are happening on metal. Whereas on the Blessing 3, I did not necessarily have that separation issue, but I did think that the depth perception and overall imaging was a little bit better on the SA6 Mark II compared to the Blessing 3. Again, I think both of them have potential to get on that Wallhack certification tier list. They're just not going to be very high up. In terms of the Blessing 3 taking it into Valorant, I didn't really notice any much issue. It took a while for my brain to kind of adapt to the sound delivery. Everything felt a little bit further away initially. Over time, that goes away, and then you get used to it, and the imaging, the depth perception, everything kind of normalizes, and it actually performs quite well. Again, it's just a brighter sounding tuning compared to something like the Orchestra Lite or the Mark II. You might hate that. You might love that. If you love it, hey, give the Blessing 3 a try. It's not really for me. I get a little bit of fatigue going in that direction compared to something, again, like my choice over both of these IEMs. The Orchestra Lite is definitely just a really nice balance between the two and performs better, in my opinion, for gaming than both of these. In terms of Apex, the presentation in Apex, again, the audio kind of feels a little bit further away from you. When you're shooting your weapon, you get this elevation in audio. And it's kind of a problem for me because I wanted to bump up my audio to get other things that were a little bit further out louder. They kind of fade away too much. You lose it because it's too airy. And when you do that, it's just everything that you do becomes too loud, and then you got to turn it back down. Your gunshots and everything just becomes a little bit overwhelming. Once you get kind of a perfect balance, they perform pretty well. Again, I just can't see them reaching past the level of something like a Dunu Vulcan or the Kiwi Ears Orchestra Lite, which I have right now still in my number 2 spot and is only $250, coming in cheaper than both of these other sets. And I think that with that nice balance, they, in my opinion, have a nicer tuning for Apex as well as Valorant. So 2 good IEMs, 2 IEMs on different ends of the spectrum. Again, if you are interested in that, going that direction compared to a midline, compared to the brightness, could it be worth a try? Sure. But again, just keep in mind, I'm not going to have it high on my list if I have it on there at all. And then the Blessing 3s, if you are interested in that brightness, that kind of open feeling, certainly you could give it a try. But again, keep in mind that is also not going to be high on my list if it is at all. I would strongly point you guys in the direction of the Kiwi Ears Orchestra Lite V2, something that strikes a nice middle ground and just performs very well in game. I have the triple win violet cable on my Orchestra Lite. Just a nice combination that stays very comfortable for long durations of time. Anyways, guys, I am going to get to the over-the-ear headphones. The quest for the best headphone is going to continue. I've got the Edition XS, I've got the Harmonic Dyne Athena, and I have the Thea Audio Ghost. I might pick up a few others, but that's going to be the focus this week in getting that done for you guys, comparing them to the 560s, the 900 Pro X, and I promise I will have that video to you guys this week. I hope this kind of shed some light on how these perform in game. I know a lot of you guys had questions. If it did help, please leave a sub to the channel, guys, and I'll see you in the next review. Peace.